The Square Ball Podcast.
Well, welcome. Time to hand out our hero and villain of the week as the TSB jury assembles within our makeshift courtroom. Dan, Michael and Moscow with you as the three-man panel jury.
Man-panel jury.
Group, block, decision makers.
Yep.
Yeah. Levi Solicitor's obviously well behind this. They love this feature. Being in a courtroom as it is. And I have a gavel, famously present in a courtroom in the UK.
They're on adverts.
Yeah. There is. We did actually get somebody sent us an advert of it was a judge banging a gavel, wasn't it? Maybe like double glazing or something like that.
It was me, I think.
How was it you sent it to me?
I found it was on an advert for chocolate milk.
You're so insignificant. I didn't even realise it was you. But yeah, no gavels in English courts, which I knew about.
All Rise by Blue was another example of a good courtroom atmosphere.
Yes. Thank you. Should we get into the Ken Bates?
I rest my case, as they would say.
Should we get into the Ken Bates Villain of the Week award?
Do we have any?
Villains? Well, there'll be somebody, won't they? Thank you to our TSB Plus members who sent in various nominations. One of you will have to step up to the legal hockey now and deliver who you believe should be the Villain of the Week. I can think of some candidates already.
I mean, I can't be too bothered really after that. It was fairly.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Villain-wise, I mean,
End of the show. Hang on.
Probably.
There you go.
Probably.
Case dismissed.
If we had to pick on someone,
I'm going to go for Hoggy because I know you're about to say it, so I'm just taking him off you.
No.
Oh,
go on.
You step up to the legal hockey.
Well, who were you going to say?
Dickhead ref.
All right. Well, I'm saying Auggie, so up yours.
Right. Well, the two are related, obviously.
You call him Hoggy because of Warnock, clearly as well, don't you? As I do. Because he's basically the one player that Warnock used to like at Huddersfield. He'd always talk about Hoggy in any press conferences.
Okay. Well, I mean, what other nickname you got? You're not going to call somebody called Hogg anything but Auggie. The pig.
Oh, the drilling started downstairs, which is great. And we will be moving down to our new office studio in about another week, so hopefully this will stop. But in the meantime, apologies for that.
We keep saying it.
The thing about Jonathan Lee Hogg, as to give him his full title, 324 games for Huddersfield and counting. Like, that's too many. Nobody needs to play that many games for Huddersfield Town. It also disagrees with the lower part of his Wikipedia page. So there are two. We can't even. He's played so many games for Huddersfield, nobody can count them. Oh yeah, somebody stopped updating the table in 2022. So the last couple of seasons, nobody knows how many games this man has played for Huddersfield Town.
Do you think he knows?
Probably not. No, and that's. I think once you've reached that point, you need to really have a hard look at yourself and what you're doing. Quote here from former Huddersfield manager Danny Cowley.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, his brother doesn't seem to have had much to say about it.
You can't refer to him as Danny Cowley. He's got to be the Cowleys, hasn't it? They come as a pair.
So we've got one of the Cowley twins referred to Hogg as a fantastic professional. He brings so much to the team, not only in terms of his ability as a player, but also the substance he brings. I didn't know. I was confused about what was going on there. When he plays,
he's very good on a night out.
He gives them the grit and determination. The grit and determination Huddersfield need. And yeah, so he scored 7th of April 2021. What do you think happened? Little quiz. It's always fun when we have a quiz.
Is that Huddersfield getting relegated or?
April, probably. It could well have been. No. No.
Thanks. What is it?
Michael, any guesses?
What's the question again?
What happened on the 7th of April 2021 that involved Auggie?
There was a dust-up.
No.
A drink driving incident.
No.
A child was born.
No. He scored a goal.
Freak yachting accident.
He scored his second goal for Huddersfield was 7th of April 2021. Bearing in mind he'd been playing for them since 2013.
But yeah.
I mean, that's real kind of... We don't even know how many goals... He's now up to 4, apparently, according to some of the inconsistent statistics here. But you've got to be... I mean, a goal return of 2 in a decade. That's the kind of... that's the kind of midfielder...
I feel like you've gone really granular on this to an extent that just wasn't necessary.
The kind of midfielder
thank you.
Colin Warnock would absolutely love. No, it's not about the goals, it's about the effort. Professionalism. That's what I get from Auggie. He's a footballer who can't score. I mean, Berardi, bless him, but he's a fullback. Batty scored a few. Batty could, if he wanted to, he just didn't.
It's just annoying his dad, wasn't it?
He chose not to, yeah.
So that's a completely different category. But also Berardi, he was with us for a decade, wasn't he? Berardi, don't compare Gaetano Berardi to Jonathan Hogg. What's the matter with you?
I compared David Batty to him.
Is this your way of switching that Oggie's not the villain and you're going to put the dickhead ref forward because you're saying that he's basically
talking, Michael, and
the same as Berardi? I'm not having that. I think what you've just done is a disgrace.
Order, and so on. Go on.
I've had to look his name up because people have
Hogg?
just referred to him as the different. No, James Bell.
We don't
the
need to know
referee.
that.
Ref and Hogg, you're thinking of Stroud again, aren't you?
Yes, but the referee, James Bell, should have sent off Hoggy quite clearly.
And
Hoggy
shouldn't have put him in that position.
Is it the case that Hoggy was just doing what Hoggy does?
Hoggy knew he should have been sent off as well because he stood up and did that. No.
Yeah.
Tried to be dismissive of it so the ref would think it was downplayed and it worked, to be fair. Because, second half we did take a foot off the gas, but if they'd have been out of 10, which they rightly should have been, we could probably have, even with all the changes, we could have probably put another 3 or 4 past them.
Yeah.
So the referee spoiled it.
I think one of the reasons we took the foot off the gas was that Auggie started putting his studs on the Achilles, didn't he? So there was several. It was Ampadu that he went over the top on, wasn't it? Or was that on one of the other reprobates
I think
in this
Ampadu was
so-called midfield?
I think Ampadu was the first one he got booked for, and then he did another one right at the end of the first half, which should have definitely been another yellow. But
Yeah, so it became not worth the risk because Tom Lees went late from behind on Rutter at one point and tried to then apologise, which Jorginho was not having. And I felt a bit bad about that point because then the Leeds fans started singing "You're too shit to play for Leeds," and I know Tom Lees had just kicked Jorginho Rutter, and I wasn't in a very good mood with him myself. That's it's Tom Lees.
Bit mean, isn't it?
I would welcome Tom Lees back into our team.
Would you?
Yeah, of course.
I just need to interject here as the person with the deciding vote, as the judge in these matters, and just say Ipswich and Leicester as nominated by Philip. Saying seriously, calm the fuck down, would you? Absolutely fair.
we can calm them down.
Yeah. We have the ability. Oh, crap. We're playing them, aren't we? Friday. That's feels very prescient.
Today, as you were listening to this.
Yes. Bamford and Meslier both get mentions for their slight indiscretions, but it feels like they're just petty grievances. And also the Bamford Boo Boys are getting mentioned by Matt. So mitigating against the Bamford Boo Boys feels like a whole little circular argument within itself. But I don't think, certainly Bamford's not going to win it this time. Any other sort of cheap shots you want to take? Or because that petty grievances are allowed, cheap shots are allowed?
I mean, there are a couple of nominations for Huddersfield in general due to bestiality reasons, which maybe don't need to get into. Edwards, says Sarah, says no villains, just chump of the week. But I think he's still to come in heroes, surely, isn't he, Edwards? Let's not get into him now.
Yeah. I think you might have you spelled bestiality wrong there on the sheet, Michael, which is not what you normally do. When you send out the newsletter, you normally get the spelling right.
I saw some bestiality on Twitter last night. That was different.
Why?
There's a video circulating on there. A few people retweeting it.
What were you looking for?
It just came onto my time. It was probably in the For You tab.
The algorithm will be feeding you what you look for, won't it?
just racists and bestiality. That's all you get on there these days. Thanks, Elon.
Hogg came back from injury to become Villa's reserve team's leading goal scorer.
What an accolade.
This is his Wikipedia page of all things.
You're not letting him go, are you, Hoggy?
And was part of Villa's squad that won the 2009 Peace Cup, a pre-season tournament. Part of the squad suggests he didn't even play. And you're telling me that this guy is not the villain of the week. He refused to play in the cause of peace. There's no evidence that he did that, but maybe he did. I don't know. Oh, actually, I can find out what other teams here.
Right, I'm prepared to make a ruling on this, and I do have to side with Moscow on this, if only just to make him stop talking about Auggie. Because the dickhead ref, it's obvious you can do the ref every week because the crap.
It's true.
But Auggie, he brought it on himself, didn't he?
It'll probably hurt Warnock a little bit as
He
well.
brought it on Ampadu's legs before he brought it on anybody else.
See, Warnock turned... Well, did he turn down QPR or did they turn elsewhere this week? I thought it was looking nailed on. He was going back there, wasn't it? But
he's not going there before Christmas, is he? Like he'll have done that thing like when he signed up to Huddersfield at the start of the season, knowing full well he was not going to see it out. He'd have gone back to QPR and gone for the interview. So, I can't wait to get started, lads, and all this.
Can't wait to get started in January.
Yeah. When I've got Christmas out of the way. Sharon needs me around the house, to get the giblets out of the turkey and all that. Not a euphemism. Villain of the week, Auggie. Right, let's do the Katarina Brady Hero of the week, shall we then? End on a high. In terms of the player scores, there were lots of high scores for the Huddersfield game. There were 3 players over 9 out of 10. So how does that factor into our thinking here? Who's going to nominate who, and what does it do to the Player of the Year scores?
Player of the Year, Summerville.
Is he out in front now?
He's now got ahead of Ampadu.
Right.
The thing is, I do feel a bit sorry for Ampadu because all he can really do is just be consistently really good doing his midfield stuff. Whereas when someone scores 2 and assists 2...
It's like the Ballon d'Or was this week, wasn't it? And it's never kind of... A keeper doesn't get it or a defender doesn't get it. It's always one of the fancy players.
Jorginho Rutter might get it.
He will get it.
One day. Because he was also very good. Yeah, there's not a lot to split them at the top. Or indeed, Dan James. Do we need to revise Dan James's name?
No. Do you know who...
Someone did suggest we abbreviate Little Scum Bastard to LSB, but it's a term of affection, isn't it? It's fun.
Or Danny James.
Yeah.
You know who did play in one of these Peace Cup matches when Hogg couldn't be bothered? Little Leeds connection. And also American.
Brendan Aronson.
Aston Villa.
Weston McKennie.
I can tell you've got it.
Eric Lehigh.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
In front of Brad Friedel. Got to try and... Because we got a lot of people who got into the Leeds United stuff due to all the American things. So there's something for you.
You're welcome.
We've mentioned Friedel and Lehigh. There you go. That'll keep you quiet for a couple of months.
Yeah, see, top 3 for Player of the Year at the minute. It's Dan James at just over 7 out of 10. Farker, obviously not a player, but he's scoring just slightly higher than that. Ampadu, 7.21, and Crescencio Summerville, 7.27. That's interesting, because a lot of people might have Rutter down for that. How's Rutter not got over 7 at the minute? 6.95, he's in 4th place.
Yeah.
Sinistera's there just behind him. We can strike Sinistera from the record as well, can't we?
Yeah. And then just the consistency of Byram and Rodon behind them as well. Both doing very well every week.
Right. I can only think the thing with Rutter might be off of the Sheffield Wednesday game, which I was kind of thinking after the Huddersfield game that I think I was presenting a bit of a mysterious figure as to why I thought the Sheffield Wednesday 0-0, in which Rutter was missing sitters all over the place, was actually like loads of fun, and it was probably just because it was the same as the Huddersfield game, except against Huddersfield we scored. So there's probably, I think you got some low marks for not scoring in that game, whereas, I mean, he didn't score against Huddersfield. He's rubbish, isn't he, Rutter?
He doesn't score enough for the higher scores. That is probably his issue.
Yeah. Anyway, let's do the Katarina Brady Hero of the Week award, taking all that into account, all those scores. Interesting point made by Sarah before one of you steps up to the legal hockey to make a case for Hero of the Week. Sarah's saying it has to be all 3 of the triumvirate of heroes, Little Scum Bastard, Summerville, and Jorginho Rutter, for trickery and decision-making, wizardry, that sort of stuff.
Your court, your rules.
Do what I want, eh? Right, well, one of you make a case then.
Summerville, it was his birthday. Scored 2, assisted 2. What more do you want? Wore a life jacket to his birthday meal, or a parachute, or something.
It was definitely a high-vis tabard.
Yeah, it was nice. He doesn't need those glasses either, does he?
No.
They're definitely clear glass in those.
Although one of my childs wears blue light glasses. Don't have any medical purpose, but if you're looking at screens, and obviously that's all kids do now, don't go outside, do they? Just look at screens.
Is that your way of parenting them? Rather than getting them off the screen, you just go, just put these on. It'd be fine.
Put those glasses on. There's the iPad. Shut up.
Fair enough. Yeah. Send me the link.
You'll need 2, won't you, for your twins? 2 pairs. Go on then. You're saying Summerville. It was his birthday. Yeah, and that picture of the 3 of them on the stairs, Jed Spence, Summerville in the middle in his life jacket thing.
Spence still not fit, is he? That is one thing that Farker did say.
And
villain nomination.
And Rutter just happened to be caught at the right moment, and whatever Instagram filter it was that was on it, mentioned this with the show with Phil, just looks like the coolest album cover you could possibly imagine. I love that photo. Anyway.
And it was in this country, which helps.
Yes.
Yes. I think the probably a double team of Daniel Farker and Greta Thunberg have got onto Summerville and said, just stay in Leeds. We know it was funny last year when Marsh said, stay in Leeds, and you didn't. We all secretly enjoyed it.
We all had a laugh at that, didn't we? Yeah.
But you're not going to get away with it this year. So let's just have some nice places you can go to. But
it was the Ivy, wasn't it? He went to. It was his 21st last year as well, wasn't it? So I think it was a big one, so he wanted to go home for it.
Do we know whether it was the Ivy in Leeds, though, or the one in London?
Don't know. Not been to either.
This doesn't come all together as a surprise,
I can
Michael.
confirm it wasn't a Wetherspoons.
I'm going to look at the Ivy menu now and upset you. Ivy.
It was
Restaurant, Leeds.
what was he called? That guy who plays for Newcastle has just been banned. Tenali, wasn't it? Who'd booked himself a table at Wetherspoons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he'd obviously just looked on Google Maps, but he'd rung up and I think it would obviously been fairly well rated because they often are. They are Wetherspoons, aren't they? You kind of know what you're getting. But he'd obviously just looked at something in the local area and he'd reserved a table and there was a little thing there and people were taking pictures of it to say it must be the guy, and then he turned up.
It reminds me of Jorginho Rutter's Halloween TikTok. It was very entertaining. This week had his little search history as he was booking a taxi for where he'd be, and it was 2 fancy dress shops. Mm-hmm. There was one on Roundhay Road and then one on North Lane, and then Argos, which fits. I like that. However long he's been in Leeds, was if you need some bits for your costume, go to Argos.
It's not as expensive as I thought.
But then the last one was Preston, which kind of confuses me. That's the town of Preston that he'd been searching for, like on Google Maps. So I don't know what interest he's got.
The bus station, obviously.
Maybe
local landmark.
The bus station.
Most expensive steak is the scorched, dry-aged ribeye, 12 ounce, 340 grams, Michael, in a garlic and red wine sauce. How much are you saying?
£39.99.
$37.95.
There you go.
It's not too bad, actually, is it? And the fillet of beef, it's 7 ounce rather than 8. Succulent, prime, centre-cut, grass-fed beef. What are you saying?
Hang on.
Slightly cheaper, yeah.
So it's a much lighter steak, isn't it? Yeah. $34.99.
Only 24 pence out. It's £34.75.
Perfectly reasonable prices.
Yep. Shepherd's pie, $16.95. How do you feel about that?
The just on the off chance that Steve Nicol pops in.
Yeah, and fish and chips.
There's no corn in it, is there?
No. Fish and chips. It's the Ivy 1917 batter with mushy peas.
£25.
$18.95.
Could be worse.
Yeah. Would you go?
Maybe.
No.
If I was forced to.
Okie doke. Shall we move on from reading out menu items?
I'm checking the Preston squad, see if there's anyone he might be mates with.
Maybe he's angling for a January move. I nominate Daniel James.
Because you love Man United.
Because I love Daniel James. I love Dan James. I've always loved Dan James. That's why I love calling him Little Scum Bastard. And I'm remembering, if anybody doesn't know this about Dan James, just go on Google Dan James crying puppy. And it will bring you either to the video itself or what I wrote about his video, which was the main thing. The main reason I was disappointed when he didn't sign the first time was because while Marcelo Bielsa had that big folder full of presumably clips of him playing football, I had from YouTube a video of Dan James being given a puppy and crying on it. It's beautiful. He gets given, he comes home from a hard game. It's an away match at Rotherham that Swansea had lost. Although Dan James had set up Ollie McBurney for the opener.
I will say that Grumpy Git Kev is making a case for Jorginho Rutter, and Grumpy Git Kev is going very much against Brand by saying him and his lad were in stitches every time he had it. He's so good. That's how I feel about him, and what you wrote about the joy of watching him play this week, Moscow, and the joy of being him in this division. It looks like he's just having a really nice time, and he's making us have a nice time by proxy, which is good.
But he's been to Lancashire. Whereas Dan James has left Lancashire to Greater Manchester, whatever. It's moved to us. And despite Jesse Marsh's best attempts to exile him to London, like some sort of shit Dick Whittington, he's come back without a cat, but with a puppy. And that puppy now is probably a full-grown dog. And I bet it's having the best time. Just imagine Dan James and his, I think it's a cockapoo. Some kind of dog. It's got floppy ears anyway.
I do like to think that him and Duke Bamford go running around in the park together.
Well, I was going to say, imagine Dan James and his dog like racing after each other, running around.
Surely should have a greyhound.
It probably ruins the mood if you've got Bamford like limping along after them, going, "Oh, my plantar fascia, I can't. Oh no." So let's just stick with the positives.
Don't you minimise the impact of a naughty plantar fascia? It really does.
I'm not. That's why I'm saying we don't need Pat Bamford running around after dogs and Dan James in any more pain than the poor guys suffer already. So let's stick with the beautiful image of Dan James, the Yorkshire countryside, a dog, maybe he's got more dogs, and they're all just gambling, not betting, but like
We've finished with
lambs.
Tonali, haven't we?
And
Hey.
I think that would be good. And
Well, that deserved a response.
Martin in Liversedge also points out that he did a video for the sponsored walk.
He did.
Yep.
Yes.
He did. Not
kind
this,
of
not
play-
this year. The year before.
Playing on his Welsh heritage.
Yes, he was. We were probably in Wales for longer than he has been.
Right.
But that was good of him. That was nice. And he's never done anything
No, he hasn't.
wrong for us, has he? And now, if he can score goals, bloody hell. I mean, bloody hell. Because there was that slight moment with the first goal when Summerville's running through and Piru makes the run to the left and Dan James is racing up on the right. And you're
thinking go left.
Give it Piru.
I mean, I will say his first goal, a better goalkeeper might have saved that because it wasn't exactly in the corner.
But it's all about, building confidence, and we don't have to worry about the one he missed for his hat-trick either. It's all getting better. The second one was a good finish as well. But so he's just proving doubters after doubters after doubters that he's got all the things that people have kind of doubted him. And maybe you can kind of see the reasons why. It wasn't just Bielsa, but Rob Page for Wales as well was like, we'll stick him up front because
He's quick.
he's quick and he can shoot into the net.
Let's just round up some of the formal commendations that the court will recognise as well. Yorkie Dave wants to say hi to Kamara because he was the main man. Strauch, Weatherby Matt, very much enjoying him being captain. And regards to Tom Edwards, Graham Turville has done a blazing squad flip reverse on this and suggesting that Tom Edwards should be formally commended for showing other lovers of fast food that a career in elite sports is possible if you avoid Rutter and Summerville.
I mean, we've seen Weston McKennie and him in the last few months, haven't we? What a treat for us all.
I mean, people hark back to the glory days of 1970s, 80s football. Maybe they're trying to just bring a little bit of it back, endorsing the Victor Orta's Against Modern Football hoodie. We're seeing it made flesh in a £35 million deal for Weston McKennie.
Against modern fitness levels.
Doffs of the cap for Darren Moore. Marco wants to recognise his work in breaking both in breaking both Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield in a single season with a little help from Colin and Eric Ten Hag as well. Howard is enjoying his work for doing just badly enough, goodly enough.
Howard nominated him for this ahead of them getting spanked in the cup. That's too bad.
Right. So now you've got to remedy it at the weekend.
That was too bad of a defeat.
Let's just see who they've got at the weekend.
He could really have done with that being probably going out after a draw would have been
Penalties.
the best. Yeah, because you can go, we played well, we didn't really lose. It was just...
It's a risky one. At the weekend, they've got Fulham away, the lunchtime Saturday kickoff.
I think they'll win that.
That could be their just doing enough type fixture.
That's the one. He pulls it back around.
Fulham get a man sent off early, they scrape a 1-0 win.
Yeah.
He gets another 2 weeks in the job. Round and round we go.
Well, it'll be the international break soon, isn't it? So we need him to.
True.
We need him to do a full Jesse Marsh and go into the international break with a couple of decent results, so that they'll be lulled into keeping him for January. And I just hope, because they're bringing in, there's that fool who's parted with his money to invest in them. He's already ruining. Is it Nice that he already is running into the ground? We need him to hand a January checkbook to Ten Hag and let him buy some more of his Eredivisie losers for 80 million a pop.
Or 31-year-olds who need instantly replacing because they're 31.
Yeah.
The Catano Berardi Hero of the Week award, I think, goes to...
It's Dan James.
It's Crescenzio Summerville.
To Dan James.
Not only was it 2 goals and 2 assists, it was also his birthday. There's the cool photo.
Dan James has had birthdays. Summerville is not unique. Oh, he had a birthday. Nobody else has had a birthday. I've had a birthday.
Unfortunately, it's about being topical, and this is this week. The puppy was a lovely moment. I enjoyed it also, but this week, Crescenzio Summerville has been pictured.
Right, do you know when Dan James' birthday is?
When?
10th November. So you're right, we're absolutely smack bang in the middle of them.
Well, next
Sort
week,
that
maybe.
out.
You can have it next week.
If he scores 2 assists too and has a birthday next week, fine, he can have it.
This is a very high, but we're playing Leicester.
Doesn't matter. All right, 1 goal, 1 assist. And I assume his birthday will happen regardless.
Anyway, he was wearing a life jacket this week, as you were saying, a high-vis life jacket, which obviously is good in terms of water safety. So, doing things for the community when he was out on his birthday. Wearing glasses, to promote
eyesight.
Yep.
So he's done all those things. So he's getting it. He's the Katarina Brady hero of the week. I think that's fair, isn't it? He's going to object.
Just don't listen to him.
Well, we'll wrap it up there then. It has been a nice week, hasn't it? And it can only get better from here as we face Leicester in the Friday night game.
Oh, it doesn't matter in some ways, does it? I sort of accept that we might lose
none of this. We'll all be dead in 100 years, Michael, so...
100 years?
Why worry about it? I mean, 100% dead.
I was going to say, I'd be happy to get another third. I'd be absolutely fine. More than enough.
Right. We'll wrap it up there. We'll speak to you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.